Hey there, this is Anita from the Wise Women's Workplace, and I'm here to share with you insights that made the difference in my journey from administrative assistant to executive director and beyond. Over the years, I've collected lessons learned on how to become a sought-after employee, and I want you to know them too, so that you are finally valued for your real contribution at your workplace. So, let's get started. Hi, this is Anita from the Wise Women's Workplace podcast and Facebook group. Today we're going to talk about one sure and easy way to feel more comfortable making small talk at a professional event. I find the term small talk is so deceiving. It makes you think that there's nothing to it and that what is said is unimportant. But if you've been in the situation where you're expected to carry on talking to people that you barely know at a professional event, you know that small talk can feel like a big deal. When it comes to small talk, it's easiest to keep things simple. It's common to talk about who you are and what you do. If you aren't sure of how to introduce yourself to someone at a professional event, go back and listen to episode number 5 of the Wise Women's Workplace on effortlessly introducing yourself at a professional event. It will not only explain what you should say about yourself and your job, but how to go about saying it. While people know where they work and what their job is, they still blurt out the weirdest things at events. For example, sometimes they're way too personal, or sometimes they share too much information about their work environment. Sometimes they even tell you confidential things. And sometimes they say things that are completely off the mark. I've heard it before, and when I've been on the receiving end of those kinds of statements, I usually just smile politely and end up finding a reason to walk away. But I get it. Faced with silence and mounting nerves, sometimes we just lose our cool. But small talk doesn't have to be such an anxiety-inducing prospect. Really, let's talk about what makes for simple small talk at an event, so that you don't feel like you're saying too much or too little or talking about the wrong topic. Soon you'll feel totally at ease at professional events because you'll soon understand that it isn't that hard. It just takes a little consideration. One of the reasons we engage in small talk at an event is to network. Networking can be pivotal for your career advancement. So it's important to remember that whenever you're at a work event, you need to keep on what I call your professional hat. Don't be lulled into false security and think, oh, I don't know these people. I'll likely never see them again, so it doesn't really matter what I say. There have been many times I've learned information about people and their business or career at events, which helped me later on when I least expected it. Remember, the business world can be very small, so make sure to always put your best professional self forward. So, what should you talk about when you're at a professional event? Well, in my opinion, the best topic for small talk at an event is actually the topic being focused on at the event. Think about it. This is the one interest that you certainly have in common with the other people at the event. And it's generally easier to talk about a topic rather than talking too much about yourself when you first meet someone, as it takes some of the focus off of you if you're feeling a little uncomfortable. One of the standard defaults that people talk about at an event is what they just heard about. People often ask, so what did you think about the presentation? And it's fine and typical to say that you really enjoyed a speaker's presentation, but it's even more interesting for others to hear why you thought it was interesting. And if you're new to this particular topic, it's fine to admit that in discussions, but it's best if you can explain why the topic is of interest to you. Preparing yourself a little before the event will go a long way in helping you feel more comfortable and making a good impression. Believe me, most people don't do this, and it really shows. If you don't know much about the event topic, try to read a little bit about it beforehand. Having some information up your sleeve will save you feeling uncomfortable and potentially even embarrassed. Also, if you know a little about the topic, the presentations will be easier for you to follow, more interesting, and you won't be wasting your time at the event. And if you really aren't comfortable speaking about what you just heard, don't say too much. Rather, you can be the first to ask others about their thoughts. Just try to keep your questions open-ended as opposed to simple yes-no type of questions. This will invite the person you're speaking with to share more information, and this will make it much easier to keep the conversation flowing, as there will be more options for conversation topics that will come up naturally. Now, Please understand that what I'm suggesting is that you prepare yourself before the event so that you can feel more comfortable. What I am not suggesting is that you pretend like you know more than you do about a topic just so that you can sound good. This would be a surefire way to feel insecure at the event, and it would likely become obvious fairly quickly if you're bluffing your way through a conversation with someone who knows even just a little bit more about it than you do. Just be yourself, but also be prepared. If you know how to introduce yourself and you have prepared minimally for the event, you will feel much more comfortable and you will actually enjoy the event much more. It may seem far away at the moment, but if you get comfortable with small talk at the event, you may start looking forward to going to professional events. And then you can even plan for your next step, preparing professionally what you will get out of the event. But that's a topic for a future episode. I don't want to stress you out now. So, as a reminder, if you want small talk at an event to be much easier, remember, focus your conversation on the topic of the event. This will make you more authentically engaged, and you will also speak more confidently about what you heard that day. If you have some specific questions about small talk at an event, head over to the Wise Women's Workplace Facebook group, and you can get some direct help from me and our group over there. Come join us and be part of a free but valuable community of women helping each other in the workplace. That's where we can get more in depth about these kinds of topics, or you can even suggest topics for future episodes. You can find it on Facebook by typing www.facebook.com/groups/Wise Women's Workplace. And you will find free resources on the website, www.wisewomensworkplace.com. Thank you for listening. I love hearing from listeners how this content is helpful. And finally, remember to subscribe to the podcast if you want to be informed when new podcasts are available with more tips on how to become a sought-after employee. There are many more helpful tips on the way. In the meantime, take care of yourself and be wise.